Hello everyone and welcome to your NARSA weekly update for the week commencing Monday the 11th of September 2023. It's Gary here again. And well, what an odd week for our beloved football club, with all the swirl around, particularly all the swirl around Michael Beale and his jackets on a sugary peg tenure as Rangers manager, culminating in, if you follow things on social media, that is anyway, a bit of a frenzy on Saturday when he updated his Instagram profile picture from some sort of Rangers image. I don't actually know what was on it, to one from his days as manager of QPR. Now, I am very, very rarely on Instagram. I was on it a wee bit over the weekend there, trying to figure it out, and I just don't know how to work it. And every time I ask Leo, he just gets ratty with me because I'm so old and decrepit and stupid. So I didn't see any of this, but the outlets that I do look at had it all kind of berserking, like all over the place, as if this is a sign he's removed himself from this group chat with the club and unfollowed it or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but as I sit here on Monday evening at 6:20 p.m. exactly, there has been absolutely no news whatsoever at all, and Michael Beale took the training at Ibrox today, and the training was at Ibrox today, of course, because England, the English national team, had rented, I'm sure they're paying for the privilege of training for tomorrow night's, what would you call that, 150th anniversary. I was going to try and figure out the name for that, but let's just go with the 150th anniversary game of the Scotland versus England international match. So that's why the training was at Ibrox, I assume, and Michael Beale was there. And he took his squad for a tour of the Rangers Museum first, and then they went over to Ibrox. I'm assuming it was in that order, maybe it was in a different order. So I guess there's no news about his tenure, or there is nothing material that the club are willing to share. Now, I have to say, this is one thing, and in my lifetime of supporting Rangers, which is coming up for 40 years here, I've truly never understood the thing that we kind of commonly refer to as the dignified silence from the board, especially when it's known that we as the fans are in a bit of a state of frustration or devastation or some other stressful emotion, and we need something to hold on to. In my experience in life and in my professional capacities as well, that is, in lieu of actual accurate factual information, people are just going to make stuff up. And that theory has gone into hyperdrive with the wonder that is anti-social media these days, that Michael Beale is on his way out. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that for every single grump or complaint or anything like that we would have as a fan base that we need the club to respond to it to make us feel better, but there are certain circumstances and situations, I think, that provoke the need for more attention to be paid for the fans, the stakeholders, the shareholders and the likes, and it feels like this is definitely it. I'm not specifically talking about the dreaded, vote of confidence from the board, that when that comes you're like, oh, his days are numbered. But get our chairman or our CEO or both to come out and say something, and say something from the heart. Let us know without divulging any industry or organisational competitive secrets or whatnot. Just tell us what's going on. And that's exactly, just to provide an example, that's exactly what I've tried to do with NARSA over the years, and I have seen a genuine difference in terms of people's attitude and approach to what it is we're doing here. And I honestly don't see honest, open communication as something difficult, something even just along the lines of, your new chairman and CEO are fully behind Michael Beale, and we're not in the business of tossing an accomplished professional after just 9 games. We backed him and we gave him mostly what he asked for, while still maintaining financial normalcy at the club, and we firmly believe in the fullness of time we'll see a consistently winning product on the pitch. And if that doesn't transpire, as we all hope, then further risk mitigation conversations would naturally take place, as is the same with any football club or business who are falling short of agreed upon targets. Like something along the lines of that, just to say, listen, you don't have to sit there and fret and worry. I mean, I don't know about you, I think I mentioned this last week or maybe the week before. I hate waking up every morning and then looking and kind of just basically begging that he doesn't get fired, because I just hate that feeling. Not to say whether I'm a massive Michael Beale fan or not, and I am, to be honest, but I just don't like that feeling. We're 7 hours behind here in Calgary, and just to wake up thinking, is he gone? Is he there? Is he gone? Is he there? I can't imagine what that guy must feel. But if the club are genuinely sitting down with him and genuinely saying, listen, we believe you're the guy, and let's not contradict each other in public, and let's make sure that we have all the facts and figures correct, and then we will back you, and this is what we're going to say, and if you could, in some way respond to that in kind at your next press conference, that would be great. I don't see that something like that is difficult. And this, as I say, the dignified silences we've come to commonly refer to as is it just doesn't work. People can put up with almost anything as long as they know, and there's a way to say we're not happy but we still support, or we're hurting just as much as you are and this is what we plan to do about it, or something like that. And then, like, when the information comes out, we can all pick it apart and debate what it means, but at least we would know, and then we don't have to, or is it, maybe this is just me, have to constantly click refresh on whatever online media outlet we use to see if he's been sacked or not. Truly, folks, I genuinely have no idea. I just don't get the silence for matters as potentially serious as this, unless the club just don't take it seriously at all, and they're just like, you can disappear, there's nothing to see here. I just don't like that. I just don't like that at all. Anyway, let's move on with the content for this week, and a bit of a packed show this week, even including the fact that we didn't have any games, and of course the fact that no games means that we don't have any game segment, other than just to mention that, I don't know about you, but my stress levels were way more normal than they were when the team is playing. Such was the massiveness, I don't even know if that's a word, by the way, but such was the gravity of the games, the two games we had before the international break, and the excitement, and then we all buy into the hope, and then when we get let down, it feels awful. So that affects the stress level as much, and as much as I kind of lament the international break, especially with the way things ended up, I miss having Rangers in my life, directly in my life, in terms of looking forward to games, looking forward to seeing the games, looking forward to picking apart the games and seeing where we go from there. So with that said, we do have one game this week, of course. The international break is almost over, and it's away to St Johnstone this Saturday. That's Saturday, September the 16th, and it's an early one for us here in North America, with the kickoff being 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 12:30 p.m. UK time. And just doing a quick check yesterday when I was putting my notes together, St Johnstone haven't exactly had an inspirational start to the campaign, having drawn 2 games. However, actually no wins, and 2 games only, so 2 points from the season, but one of those points was at Sharkhead, remember, so they do know how to be organised, they do know how to shut up shop and keep good teams out. So they are bottom of the table. Now, I think you know what I'm going to say. We've been here before, haven't we? How many times over the years have we went and played the bottom team and we just haven't showed up, and they've put in a gargantuan performance, and then all of a sudden we're licking our wounds afterwards. We just simply cannot afford that anymore for the remainder of this year, and as in 2023. I think we have to win out the rest of the games between now and the end of December. I really do. So if we don't this weekend, I don't know what sort of state I'm going to be in come next Monday's pod. But I did mention last week that Michael Beale had said something along the lines of the international break gives us 2 weeks to work with the players and stuff like that. And I kind of mocked it a wee bit last week to say, what are you going to do in 2 weeks that you didn't do for the previous 2 months, Michael? But you have to have faith in the manager, as I said earlier. I actually do have faith in him, and I do really want him to succeed, and I will happily be delighted to see the upturn in the team's fortunes under his charge, if that's the way that things are going to be. So I guess we just see what happens on Saturday. Just a win, Michael, please, just a win. For RTV, we are still in the process of answering some questions that we've had from clubs. I think I said last week we'd use the international break to get all the answers back, and every time I go in and look at my inbox, the unanswered ones are still there, so I do need to dedicate a bit of time to that. But I'm going to be travelling this week, so I'll get a chance to get some uninterrupted time and clear up my inbox a wee bit, because it's went a wee bit haywire this last wee while, certainly since the start of the season for us as well. So if you're waiting on a response, please by all means email us back, or just kind of wait to the end of the week here, and we should have everybody responded to by then, I hope. On the shout outs, I did want to mention something. I've been chatting with Mike from Winnipeg, and I'm told that he has a friend or friends visiting from the Brighton Loyal over to Winnipeg. Like, why you would ever why you'd ever live in Winnipeg for the first off, and then why would you go and visit it on purpose? I'm joking, Mike, I'm joking. But his good pal Pete from the Brighton Loyal is over visiting right now, and I know that they were on the golf course today because Mike and I were chatting over WhatsApp about that, and I'm told that Pete is a regular listener, so thank you very much, Pete, for that. And they did go and attend a Winnipeg Blue Bombers, that's Canadian football, which is a throw ball to the people who know what proper football is, and it's just great to see that things are starting to kind of thrive a wee bit in Winnipeg, and Mike has been instrumental in that. And I don't know if you remember, for regular listeners, you might remember that last year I was on my way to Seville, and I was in Calgary Airport, and I still had to record the pod. And I can't remember, because I didn't travel on the Monday, did I? It must have been a Tuesday. Maybe the pod was late or something. I can't remember. Anyway, I'm in the airport and I record the pod in a wee supposedly quiet area until the cleaner came over and kind of ruined all the quietness. And then I went back to the bar and I see a guy sitting at the bar with a Rangers top on. So I went up and says, "Oh, I really like your shirt, man. Would you mind if I sat here?" And we ended up having a conversation. He told me who he was and where he was going from. He wasn't actually going to Seville himself. He was heading back home to the UK to watch the game with friends and family over there. And then all of a sudden, this relationship blossoms, and it's good for Winnipeg Rangers Supporters Club, and it's good for Mike and the ability to be able to say a proper thank you to Pete and everyone from the Brighton Loyal as well. So that's amazing. I'm really, really delighted about that, and thanks again for all of your support, Pete, and please, as I say every week, do pass this on to whomever you think might enjoy it. I did see yesterday on Facebook, I posted something about on Facebook yesterday just about Leo and I doing a run, which I'll get to here in a wee second, and I did notice that there was a post there from Gavin Ramsey from the Burlington Rangers Supporters Club, which he was mentioning his health. He said some health challenges, I believe, which resulted in him spending some time at the hospital, the clinic, or something like that over the weekend to get some treatment and antibiotics and such. I'm not 100% sure exactly what Gavin's diagnosis is, but I just did want to pass on my best wishes to him for his ongoing recovery, and if there's anything myself or NARSA can do to aid your recovery, please do not hesitate to get in touch, my friend. Also, so I did just mention this here in terms of the Facebook, I would like to send a very special shout out to my beautiful baby boy and congratulate him, Leo that is of course, for his performance in yesterday's annual Canmore Rocky Mountain 5 kilometre race. He finished an incredible 4th place out of absolutely everyone who competed in the 5k race. 4th out of 363 competitors and 1st overall in the under 16 or 16 and under as they call it category, and he, the second place person, was almost 4 minutes behind him as well. Just unbelievable. And with a finishing time of 22 minutes 57.3 seconds as well. Just an absolutely brilliant performance by him, and I just couldn't be more proud. And for anybody who knows me knows how proud I am of him already. Pretty amazing by a kid who just turned 14 back in May, and the 3 guys who beat him were all in their 30s as well. So that's just a remarkable achievement. So well done, son. I don't know why I'm talking to him as if he's actually ever going to listen to the pod, but he might look back on this in the archives in the years to come and listen and get a notification for how proud his dad was. And speaking of his dad, his old dad also tried his hand at a half marathon. That's my first official half marathon. I did one before just on my own, which is, if anybody doesn't know, a half marathon is 21.1 kilometres, and his old dad, old Gaz here, placed 155th out of 671 runners, but I was 21st in my age category, so that's a wee bit of a thing. And my main thing for this was, one, to see if I could do it, and two, to see if I could get in or around the 2 hour mark. And I did. I got 1 hour 59 minutes and 30.8 seconds as well. So what this basically meant after was that I was basically crippled at the end, and he kind of helped me to the car and he drove us home. He actually drove us via the pub first, and we went and had a lovely wee lunch as well. So just a absolutely fantastic life experience, folks. I'm so pleased and proud of myself a wee bit, and a bit more so proud of Leo as well, because I didn't know anything about that, because my race had already started. And then I came back and I'm like, how did you do? And he told me. Then we looked up the results, and just proud as punch, man. Absolutely fantastic. And just a wee bit, kind of on a well, I guess on a Leo note, since I've been talking about him being 16, 612 weeks, 612 days and 87 weeks, I think it is. Yeah, I think I've got my notes all messed up here, but until he turns 16 and can start earning and bringing some money into this house. But just on a bit of a somber note, just when I was saying the date at the very beginning here, I did just want to acknowledge the anniversary. I think that's 22 years ago today, since the terror attacks in New York City. And just one of those life events that, you know, if you were old enough, if you were around at the time and you had your wits about you, you knew exactly where you were when you heard the news. And ironically, I was actually holidaying in Calgary at the time. I hadn't moved here yet, and my parents were here at the same time, and we got delayed home as a result of all the chaos and all that sort of thing. And I just wanted to acknowledge it today, with it being actually on the anniversary. I typically wouldn't do that, but just unfathomable, isn't it really, that something like that could happen in our lifetime? But it did. And yeah, let's just kind of move on and get to something a little bit more cheery, I think. On to the convention update. I could really just record last week's convention update and say it this week, because it's very, very similar to that. But in terms of days, it's 262 days and 37 weeks if we are going ahead with NARSA 2024 in New York City, assuming that we secure the dates of the 30th of May to the 1st of June, which I need to be very, very clear that we have not secured them yet. We have not signed a contract with the hotel as yet. I think I did mention last week that we did go back to the hotel, and we were considering kind of some alternatives in terms of how to structure the events in and of themselves, the Thursday, Friday and Saturday nights, and what kind of options are open to us. It will, I think I've mentioned, in fact I know I've mentioned over the last month or so, that I firmly believe that we will be having an event in New York City. So if you have been sneaky and you have booked your flights, you know, yeah, you won't be devastated. I'm hoping, of course, without a signed contract, I can't say that with any certainty, but in terms of what we're actually going to do, it might look and feel a wee bit different than we've had and we've enjoyed with conventions in the past. I don't think that's a bad thing, but we'll still honour the traditions that we have of the welcome night, of the Tam Plunkett Blue Night and the Walter Smith Memorial Grand Banquet, but it might just be a wee bit different. So we did get back to the hotel asking some questions. We had a bit of email dialogue with the hotel last week where they answered the questions, gave us a wee bit of an idea of what the costs could and should look like if we go down a particular path. And the last correspondence we had was actually from the hotel to us, just basically saying maybe we should get on a call this week. I just didn't have a chance to get back to them last week. So with me travelling this week, I'm not 100% sure I'm going to be able to get on a call with them unless it's Wednesday. Tomorrow's absolutely slammed for me. So if we can meet on Wednesday, that would be great. If not, I could also try and carve out some time when we're down in Kissimmee later in the week and just have a call with them. Then we'll see how that one goes as we move on. But yeah, we are targeting the dates of the 30th of May to the 1st of June, but we don't have a signed contract yet, so we don't in effect have a convention just yet. But you know, we are moving very much in the right direction, and we are having the conversations that we need to have at this stage based on the information that we now have as a result of the surveys and the ancillary information that's provided. So more to follow on that. Maybe by this time next week we might have more concrete information to share, but I'm imagining really what we're targeting is we need this wrapped up by the end of September. It's dragging on right now. We've got almost 3 weeks to go, sort of, to get to the end of the month here. And if we can't wrap this up in 3 weeks, then something is further amiss on that. So that's the target for right now. You know where you heard it first. In terms of communications for this past week, we've got a few things to cover. Actually, it's quite heavy on the communications, which is quite good. And I did want to start off with a very exciting announcement for you on an event that's going to be happening near you soon. And near you is only for people who are in or are going to be in the Greater Toronto area. That is through our partnership with 5 Stars, which has been in place for quite some time. We have been fortunate to get access to VIP memorabilia for raffle and auction prizes at our convention and things like that, and have more kind of background strategic type conversations with them on where we can work closer together going forward and such. But what we've never actually managed to do is get access to their stable of ex-Rangers VIPs for our conventions or events just yet, and that's kind of sort of changed very recently. Now, I am delighted to tell you that through our ongoing partnership, we've managed to broker I'm just going to call it this. I don't know if it's going to be called this, but a night with Neil McCann, or an evening with Neil McCann, or some other version of that, with the main point being Neil McCann. And that's going to be hosted at the Bramalea Rangers Supporters Club in Toronto on Thursday, September the 21st. So that's actually just about a week and a half from now. So you'll know probably, if you know your fixtures well enough, that this is our first Europa League game that's going to happen on the same day. So in light of the timing of that game and making sure that people could watch it in their host clubs and then still make the event, the Neil McCann event will begin at 6:30 p.m. That's 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 21st. And the rough itinerary, this is still to be confirmed on that, but there'll be, upon entry, there'll be an opportunity to take some photographs with Neil, and then there'll be an MC-led Q&A for probably about 45 minutes, something like that, followed by a bit of a break and an opportunity to replenish your drinks, and I'm sure there'll be an auction or a raffle with some one-of-a-kind memorabilia that Neil will have access to, and then we will have an opportunity for your questions, as in if you're actually going to be at the event, to be posed to Neil for the kind of second half there. So there you have it, NARSA's first 5 Stars event with the one and only Neil McCann. I've been a big Neil McCann fan for years and years and years. I got a bit annoyed with him last year when he was kind of berating Alfredo Morelos, but that happens when you love someone. You can have an argument with them and then you can get back to normal. And I have to say, Neil has been very keen on this since the very beginning, since he reached out to us. So it's been great to dialogue with him, and it's been great to put this into place. I'm delighted. We actually just confirmed it today, later this afternoon. So there's going to be a wee bit of a rush to pull this together, but the Bramalea guys and girls, are confident that they can pull it together. And the tickets for the event are going to be $20. That's probably one of the main things that you would be looking at for that. And $20 to get an evening with Neil McCann and get access to buying a couple of pints of tenants. I get the opportunity to get some one-of-a-kind memorabilia in the raffle or auction and get a photograph taken with him. Seems like cheap at a quarter of the price, never mind half the price. So $20 for your ticket there. So please contact the Bramalea Rangers Supporters Club for any questions that you might have, and to secure your tickets. And over the next couple of days we'll have we'll get a poster made up for sure, and maybe there'll be some other online or social media marketing collateral available over the next couple of days or so that will give you a wee bit more direction on how to buy your tickets. I don't know the exact ticketing process there, but if you contact them through their website or through their social media channels, they'll be able to help you out. Now here's the thing. Admittedly, I looked, when it looked like this was going to be a reality about a week or so ago, I looked to see if I could jump on a plane in the morning and then go and watch the game, the Real Betis game, in the afternoon, and then help with the logistics of the event, maybe even MC it or something like that, and then fly back later at night. So as I was floating this with my family, they just laughed at me, basically, and kind of they never suggested, they basically blatantly said that as soon as the beers start flowing, that I would be in some sort of the Hangover type situation. I have no idea where this has come from, or what they actually mean, but I guess you never know. There's a long time between now and a week on Thursday, so maybe some stuff could happen. If only we had a private NARSA jet to get me over there and get me back in one piece. That might work out. But anywho, there you have it, folks. Thursday, September 21st, 6:30 p.m, $20 a ticket at the Bramalea Rangers Supporters Club. And Neil McCann, you get an opportunity to spend some time with my new best friend, Mr. Neil McCann, and there will be food options that'll be available, maybe pie and peas or pie and beans or something like that, so you don't need to worry about skipping dinner. You'll be able to get some food when you're there as well to purchase. I believe that it's not going to be part of the ticket. The club are working on those logistics as I speak, literally I think as I speak right now. So great news, really excited for that, and congratulations to Bramalea for being able to pull it together, and we'll look to see how that event goes. On the Jails Guide for this week, today, as I mentioned earlier, the first team visited the museum and trained at Ibrox. On Wednesday, we have Rangers versus Motherwell in the Scottish Power Women's Premier League, and that's at Broadwood Stadium with an 8 p.m. kickoff. On Friday, we have the press conference for St Johnstone game, and we also, I typically don't mention the Rangers B team, but because they're playing Manchester United, I thought that seems like a big deal. So Rangers B versus Manchester United under 21s, and that's at the Rangers Training Centre at 1 o'clock on Friday. And then on Saturday, of course, we have the game early against St Johnstone at McDermott Park, and then on Sunday it's Montrose versus Rangers for the Rangers women's team as well, and that's at Links Park with a 1 p.m. UK kickoff time. I didn't do the Eastern Standard Time conversion, but just take 5 hours off of that, so that would be, 8 a.m. For that one as well. I did mention a couple of times earlier that I have some travel planned this week, and I mentioned last week, if you didn't listen last week, that we have a site visits happening this week in terms of the club, Rangers Football Club's partnership with Experience Kissimmee. So at long last, it feels like we are actually able to help the club, but properly help the club, not just be asked for some stuff and then things just don't kind of go the way that we're hoping. So we are going to be flying down there. Myself, Billy Ferguson and Lorraine Spence are going to be flying down there on Thursday. Get there around about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock p.m. on Thursday, and then on Friday and Saturday we're going to be doing a series of site visits and meetings with local partners, local properties. I give them an idea of how our conventions typically go, brainstorm some ideas for what we could possibly expect if we are going to host a convention in Kissimmee in 2025, and really looking forward to that. Of course, we're also going to get an opportunity to go down and visit Colin and his crew down there at the Orlando Rangers Supporters Club for the morning game. So the good thing is I don't have to watch it at 5:30 a.m. my time here in Calgary. I'll be watching it at 7:30 a.m. there, and I'm assuming hoping demanding that I'll be able to get a beer there. I'm really hoping that's the case before the festivities of the day commence. Nothing like some 7:30 beers to get your business day started. I promise I'll still represent NARSA in a very professional way throughout the day as well. I don't know the exact logistics of what we can expect, but I do have a meeting early tomorrow morning with Greg McCallum, who's the head of partnership management at Rangers, and we'll find out exactly what we're going to be facing on Thursday and Friday. And then we're all actually travelling back very, very early on Sunday. I think our flights are around about 7 a.m, so we need to be at the airport for about 5 a.m. or so a very early start on Sunday, but I just want to get back home. I'm already taking a couple of days off work to go down there, and I can't have it impact my routine and my schedule and my time with my loved ones any more than it needs to. But yeah, so more to follow on that. With my travel time on the way back, I'll be able to give a really good synopsis next week on what that looks like and how it shaped up and where we went and what the immediate next steps are that we're going to be considering, or certainly with stuff that I can share on that as well. So exciting times, and really, as I say, good to actually be in partnership with the club and with a trusted partner of the club as well, and hopefully get an opportunity to help nurture and grow that relationship too. And just a couple of last things that I thought were relatively interesting. You may have seen last week, this all happened within a week, I think, where the UK government had introduced a new consultation or a series of proposed new regulations regarding the transport of football fans to and from matches in Scotland, or certainly it was the Scotland stuff that we cared about. Maybe it was in the UK, I'm not sure. But some of the things that included, like if you're stopping at any pub, you're only going to be allowed an alcoholic drink. And you're going to have what they called a substantial meal with any alcohol bought, and then you had to be at the ground no less than no more than 2 hours, but no less than 90 minutes or something like that before the game. It's just a whole bunch of bizarre bureaucratic mentalness that they had. However, the government has come to its senses. I think they got the senses beat into them, quite honestly, and they did a U-turn just as quickly as they did the announcement. And it was one of those rare few moments. Actually, I can't actually remember any others like this where it seemed to bring the entire football community and maybe the entire political community in Scotland together just for a very short time. And I think the message was loud and clear. You mess with our bevy and you'll see what yous get, ya bams, or something like that. But just bizarre. Like, these politicians need a shake of some description. So I thought that was kind of worthy of mentioning. And then I did notice that with the international team doing so well, 5 wins out of 5 in the group and looking odds on to qualify for the Euros in Germany next year, it brought me to another article where you might know, if you follow this sort of stuff, that the UK or the United Kingdom and Ireland, had applied or bid for alongside Turkey, not alongside, in competition with Turkey, to host the 2028 Euros. And so the bidding was open for, they do 2 in a row, so 2028 and then 2030. Now, how would that be? 2 years in a row? I don't know. Anyway, but I thought it'd be 32. Yeah, it's 32. Maybe it's 32. Anyway, so UEFA confirmed that it's going to announce who's going to be the successful candidates for 2028 and 2032 on the 10th of October, so just over a month, just under a month from now. And at one point, as I mentioned, we were in competition with them, but now the UK and Ireland are in pole position for that because they're now running unopposed after the Turkish Football Federation withdrew to concentrate on their application for the 2032 finals, and they're going to submit a bid together with the Italian Football Federation to host the 2032. So it seems that joint bids are just the way to go, and I think that's such a great idea, so that some smaller clubs that maybe have 2 or 3 stadia have access to be able to still be part of something big, something enormous actually as well. So that alliance with Italy gives both conglomerates, essentially both partnerships, a clear run to land both the 28 and 32 events as well. So that's pretty cool, and it's quite interesting if you think about it from a North American perspective, because we have the World Cup, as you know, in America, Canada and Mexico in 2026, and then it's looking odds on. I don't imagine there would be anything that would get in their way now of having the Euros 2 years later back in the UK. So I'm feeling a bit spoiled, quite honestly, that this could be some real international presence that we might be able to get behind and enjoy as well. So yeah, I thought worthy of a mention. Anywho, a wee bit of a longer one this week, my friends, but as always, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank not just Pete from the Brighton Loyal, but every single person who takes the time to listen to this. And as I say every week, please do pass it on to whomever you think might enjoy it. Until next week, enjoy another few days before Rangers properly re-enter our lives fully, and then we'll see what the weekend brings. As I said, Michael, just a win. We need a win, and that's what we'll take, and then we'll move on from there. So until next week, my friends, please do take care of yourself, okay? Cheerio.